hour your clock strikes. Here, it's always Halloween, and I'm always your haunted host, Lucé Tomlin Brenner. Welcome to Small Frights Friday. On these very special episodes, I like to share a curated selection of calls from the All Hallows Hotline and letters from the eeeeekmail mailbag. This show is made possible by the frighteningly wonderful Patreon Ghoul Gang, whose subscriptions fully produce It's Always Halloween and keep us independent, ad-free, and sustainable. If you love It's Always Halloween and you'd like to help us produce the podcast and get an extra heaping of Halloween thrills, spills, and chills each month, please go to patreon.com/itsalwayshalloween or just click that link in our show notes. There's a new chilling story by Ray Bradbury read by me with original sound design by Pete up on the Patreon now. And our next Patreon event is Book Club this Tuesday, May 31st at 6 p.m. We're reading Mexican Gothic by Silvia Moreno Garcia, and it's not too late to sign up and join us. It's an incredibly inclusive and friendly space, and you don't even need to have finished or even read the book to join us. So come on by May 31st and see what we're all about. You get Book Club benefits starting at $6 a month. Next Wednesday kicks off Pride Month. I hope you'll join us for a homoerotic Hitchcock double feature of Rope and Rebecca. And that's not all, kids. A Nightmare on Elm Street 2, a double feature with the documentary Scream Queen. Next month, we're also reading The Dead in the Dark by Courtney Gould, a suspenseful, supernatural story of young love, family secrets, and dark magic. I will be announcing all the dates on next week's episode, as well as on socials and, of course, our Patreon, which you can follow for updates even if you don't subscribe. Check it out at patreon.com/itsalwayshalloween. Or just click that link in our show notes. There you'll also find a link to our tip jar, a form to fill out if you want to join our local Lantern Society, our Redbubble shop, and our Instagram at It's Always Halloween Podcast on Instagram. Lanterns, lanterns, lanterns. You have 5, count them 5 freaky days to get those zine materials in. Do you want to be a part of this brand new, exciting zine that we're putting together? Oh, wait, that's right. It's not 1. It's not 2. We're putting together 3 crazy zines, and you get to be a part of it. All you have to do is send in A, Halloween memories, B, pictures of you trick-or-treating as a kid, dressed up as a kid, something cute and funny that you did as a kid for Halloween. Or 3, a treasured or at least lovable Halloween recipe, complete with pictures, a story, and a little fact about you. You don't have to put all of that in, but hey, there's never too much when it's Halloween. We love it when our trick-or-treat bags overflow. So send those memories, recipes, and pictures in by Wednesday, June 1st to be involved. And feel free to reach out with any questions you have between now and then. Questions, materials, and kind words can all be sent to itsalwayshalloweenpodcast@gmail.com. And one last thing, don't forget the newest, most exciting news to come out. It's Always Halloween will be performing live this summer, the last weekend in July at Midsummer Scream, the biggest Halloween horror convention here on the West Coast. It's going to be wild, and I want you to come. I have a very special, unique code for lanterns who have not bought their tickets yet. You can get 25% off general admission tickets for Midsummer Scream with this code, IHMSS22. IAHMS22. I need a little cheer squad to do this with me. Imagine everybody in black and orange with spider-webbed tights and pom-poms with little skulls in them. IAHMSS22. Wouldn't that just be so cute? All right, guys, this code is valid through June 30th. That means you've got about a month to get those tickets. I hope you'll come because I want to meet you. Yes, you. Now it's time to reach our claws deep into the depths of the eeeekmail bag and see what's waiting there for us. This first letter comes with the subject line, Halloween Memories. Hi, Lucé. I absolutely love your podcast. It's such a treat hearing everyone's Halloween memories and recommendations. I've always loved Halloween, in big part due to my Aunt Holly, who each October would plan fun fall activities for my family. We'd go apple picking, watch spooky movies, and visit the pumpkin people, which are like scarecrow creations in my home province of Nova Scotia. She would also make us handmade Halloween costumes. She is a very talented silk painter, so looking back, I am honored that she would lend her artistic skills to this. Her earliest creation was an adorable pumpkin costume, which my brother and I both wore as babies. When my cousin joined the family, I saw an opportunity for a group costume. I dressed up as Ariel from The Little Mermaid and requested to be joined by my brother as Flounder and cousin as an octopus. I was actually quite cranky on Halloween that year because my mom insisted I wear a sweater under my purple seashell top since it was so cold out. Now I appreciate the sensible outerwear and her good parenting decision, but at the time I was appalled that she compromised the look of my mermaid costume. The next year I dressed up like a flower and was joined by my cousin as a sweet little bumblebee. I had envisioned my brother dressed up as a ladybug to complete my garden theme, but he requested a dinosaur costume be made for him instead. It might not have fit the theme, but he had never loved dressing up before, so I was just happy that he was getting in the Halloween spirit with his own fun ideas. I'll always cherish those early memories and the costumes themselves, which I've still held on to after all these years. I've always followed the Halloween traditions Holly created for us, and now I also enjoy local haunted corn mazes and winery vineyard ghost tours. I've attached some pictures of my favorite costumes so that you can take a peek at Holly's creations. I also attached a picture of a beautiful painting of a raven that she gave me as a wedding present last October. It's one of my most treasured belongings. Lucé, thank you so much for keeping the Halloween spirit alive year-round. You've created an incredible sense of community, and I cannot wait to keep listening. Happy Halloween, Chelsea. Why, Chelsea, that was just the cutest story I've ever heard. These pictures are gorgeous, and you're right, your Aunt Holly is so talented. I hope we can include these in our Halloween trick-or-treat zine because I know all the lanterns out there would love to see these pictures. I'll also be including them on our Instagram at itsalwayshalloweenpodcast, so those of you who use socials can check those out there. But wow, these just take me right back. And I don't think that the little cardigan under your purple seashells ruins the outfit. I actually think it looks quite fetching. Anyone who grew up in the Midwest or the East Coast or any northern countries knows that you cannot trick-or-treat in a purple shell bra, as cute as that might be. So I'm sure you weren't alone out there trick-or-treating in Nova Scotia. I'm sure all kinds of costumes were retrofitted with snowsuits and turtlenecks and woolly accoutrements of all kind. I'd love to hear more, too, about these haunted vineyard tours that you go on. Now, I looked up the pumpkin people of Nova Scotia because it had such a haunting ring to it, and I must say, I find them kind of disturbing. It's definitely cute and it looks like an amazing tradition, but just looking at pictures of row after row of like scarecrow-esque creatures with pumpkin heads with painted elaborate faces on them, it's kind of chilling. Like a field full of pumpkin people actually disturbs me. It has those over the garden wall vibes to it. Like I think these pumpkin people are filled with skeletons. It's creepy. I wonder if it's less creepy when you're there or if that uncanny valley feeling is what brings a little bit of extra Halloween charm to the experience. Chelsea, thanks again for this lovely eeeekmail and these beautiful pictures. It's so great being brought into your Halloween world and your Halloween memories. And I'm so happy to hear that you're enjoying the podcast and it brings you such joy. I look forward to hearing from you more soon in the future. Now, let's travel down the East Coast of North America and take a call from a pal in Boston.
That message never ceases to make me smile. Hello, Lucé, and It's Always Halloween team. This is the Spooky PT, Boston physical therapist pal, Meg. I am calling because I recently submitted some pictures that mean a lot to me via email for your trick or treat zine, which I'm obviously so friggin' excited about. And I just wanted to briefly share why these pictures mean so much to me, which kind of ties into why I love Halloween so much. And I know I've heard other people, even on the podcast, I believe, kind of cite similar reasoning. But I just think this is so important. So I really, Halloween to me is a time where you can escape reality and be whatever you want. That creativity, that imagination has always been so appealing to me. And as an only child, I had a lot of time to think and imagine every year. And of course, after Halloween ended, I was already preparing my costume for the next year. And I just felt from a really young age that I did not fit into, as a kid of like the, early mid-90s, I did not fit into one of the black or white stereotypical buckets of like what quote unquote women are supposed to be and what men are supposed to be. I have always identified as a woman, but I was certainly labeled as the tomboy. I was not emulating some of the stereotypical femininity that maybe went along with somebody who called themselves a woman. And, I feel really blessed to be an adult in the days where things are so much more to me inclusive. And I know we still have a long way to go, and I could go down a tangent about that, but I think you get the point. At the time, people questioned to my mother, like, why does your little girl not want to wear a dress? Why does your little girl hate pink? And I swear to God, I still hate pink with everything in me to this day. And I think it ties into me rejecting what was expected of me because I didn't feel that way. So some of the pictures that I sent you, namely the vampire costume and the pirate costume, were the first times I was probably like 7 or 8 in the vampire and then like 8 or 9 as a pirate, were the first times that I basically said to my mom, like, I really want to go all in on, I didn't have the words for it at the time, but a masculine costume. I really wanted to feel empowered. I wanted to feel wholeheartedly like me and do what I wanted to do and not listen to the judgment that was put on me, basically. And I said to my mom, I want to be a scary vampire. I want to wear an amulet and, the white turtleneck and flowing black pants and chunky black shoes and a big cape. And I want to have scary makeup. And she herself is somebody who loved pink, loved wearing flowery dresses, was very much, fit into that stereotype really. And God love her. She's the best person on the face of the earth. She was so insanely ahead of her time in the mental health and inclusivity department in her life. And she just wholeheartedly wanted me to be happy and was happy as long as I was happy and didn't care what other people said to her. And so I did it, and I did my makeup, and I have these ginormous eyebrows and a ginormous widow's peak and blood running down from both sides of my lips and, the teeth. And oh my God, I felt amazing. And then similarly, when I was the pirate with the sword and the eye patch and the flowing top and the same pants and the same chonky shoes, I just felt amazing. So those pictures are so precious to me for that reason. I felt like it was kind of a a turning point in my life. And really just, my mom walked the walk of, she always said she wanted to love me and empower me no matter who I was or what I wanted and who I loved or what I believed, and she did. And I'm so delighted and grateful looking back at that. And again, I think it all ties into my greatest reason for loving Halloween, which is you can be whatever you want to be. And typically that day is without judgment because everybody's dressing up and everything else. And hopefully we can continue to have a world with less and less judgment every day, but I still think it's a beautiful thing. So just needed to share that. I would love to know if other people had similar experiences of having a costume that they were like, oh my God, this is me. So fun. Love you, Lucé. I hope you're having a beautiful, spooky day. Love to all the lanterns. Can't wait to see the zine. Bye.
All right, Meg, your phone call made me cry. This was such a beautiful call. I'm very touched. And I think you really hit on something that's important for so many of us about Halloween is the ways in which the holiday allows us to truly express who we are at our core. And if we're not able to do that all year round, Halloween is a really great way to explore that, push a little bit further, try to show a little bit more about ourselves that maybe isn't safe or comfy or possible other times throughout the year. And there's something about Halloween that feels safe and comforting for so many of us. And I just have to give a big round of applause for your mom. Thank you, Mom. Thanks for being such a good mom to Meg. And I'm so grateful for you and all the moms out there who let their kids express themselves, express their gender in any way that they need to. And that goes out, there's plenty of dads out there too. So any parents who are not coming down on kids for wanting to dress in traditionally masculine or traditionally feminine ways for Halloween, and that might spark concern with other parents or certain communities. Parents who don't let gender roles or gender performance get in the way in general are incredible, but especially at Halloween, because I know that there's so many little boys out there who want to be ballerinas or princesses, and it's not safe for them to do so. So we, of course, here are 100% behind all gender expressions, and hopefully together we can all create a better Halloween land for those little kids out there who want to be able to express themselves in ways that are still considered untraditional. And Meg, I just love these pictures. I can't wait to show them with everybody. Just superb contribution to the zine. Your Dracula eyebrows are phenomenal. Maybe the best I've ever seen. They are so thick and so pointed, and you look incredibly happy. That to me, and this was the same with Chelsea, who just wrote in, these pictures of you guys just smiling, just ear to ear, the joy that just pops off the page. It brightens my day. I could be having the worst day or even just a boring day. It doesn't always have to be the best or the worst. Sometimes it's just dull. That's kind of what sucks about being an adult is you get some really dull days. And then I get these beautiful pictures and your beaming childhood smile just like shooting off the page, and you're so pleased with yourself. You're so proud of your Dracula look, and you should be, because it is perfect. It just fills my entire body with this warm orange light. And I'm just so grateful. Thank you for sharing these pictures, this beautiful story. It's really cool that Halloween was able to empower you in this way. I'm not sure if I knew that you were an only child already. We do talk offline sometimes, and you have contributed some fantastic things to the podcast before, but I too am an only child, and I really related to you kicking off your call by saying that you spent time alone, dreaming, fantasizing, planning, because I spent a lot of time alone doing that as well. And honestly, I still spend a lot of time doing that. I'm not used to groups or working with people. I'm very much I sit in my closet and dream and plan and scheme by myself kind of person. And I also really related to you saying you wanted to go against what was expected of you. I feel like I have been that way since I was born. I just cannot handle expectations, authority, anything that's just in lockstep with what's expected of you. It just does not fit with me and my personality. And I feel like most at home with people and little kids who also feel that way. So I love that we have that in common, Meg, and I suspect there's a lot of you lanterns out there in Halloween land that feel that way too. And I'd love to hear more stories about how Halloween helped you kind of push against expectations, or how you used Halloween to kind of revel in a new version of yourself, if only for a little bit. Thanks again, Meg. This is going to be choking me up all week long. I can anticipate it now. Every time I look at your little smiling Dracula face, I'm going to start crying. You're the best. Thanks so much. Now, let's dive back into that eek-mail bag and see what's crawling around next. The subject line for this one is, I danced on stage with my mom on Halloween. Hi, Lucé. I wanted to share one of my favorite Halloween memories with you. I'm from Columbia, and I lived there until I was 11. My mom made a living there as a singer, which meant she often worked during holidays. She had a show in a neighboring town. It was part of an outdoor festival. One Halloween weekend when I was about 6 or 7 years old. She was there for the weekend, so she took me with her. I was particularly psyched about this Halloween because my cousin had sent me one of her old ballerina outfits. I was obsessed with ballerinas at the time, and I got to be one for Halloween. I still remember that outfit. It was white with crimson accents and ribbons and crimson dance slippers. Anyhow, I don't actually remember how I got on stage, but I danced to my little heart's content while my mom and her band played for the Halloween crowd. I remember getting a lot of candy that day, and I won a little chick in a game that I got to take home and keep as a pet. Unfortunately, I have no pictures of the event or of the chicken, but it's something I do think about every Halloween. Thanks for taking the time to read this and for all the cool stuff you do. Louisa, she, her. Wow, Louisa, what a letter. My goodness, I don't know where to begin. I guess first I'll say that around that same time, 6 or 7 years old, I was also a ballerina for Halloween. I love the idea of us as little 6, 7-year-olds out there in different parts of the world, just spinning and twirling and feeling so beautiful and filled with so much dancing joy. I loved that costume because I felt like it gave me license to just twirl up and down the street. And I remember when I was in my Halloween parade that was for my school, and then also the Halloween parade in my city, I just used my costume as an excuse to pirouette and bounce around, and I had a little wand with a sparkly silver star on top that I remember like tapping people with. My outfit was pink it was a pink tutu and a pink jumpsuit, and the little jumpsuit had the little silver sparkly stars on it. And then because it was cold, just like I was talking about, to Chelsea in Nova Scotia, I wore a pink turtleneck underneath, and then I had pink fuzzy tights, and then inexplicably, I guess because why would we have ballerina shoes, I had little pink saddle shoes, which not very danceable. But your costume sounds so cool, especially because it was from an actual ballerina. My God, your cousin saved the day. I am sad to hear there are no pictures, but you described it so beautifully. I feel like I was there. And the fact that you won a chick, oh my gosh, that's like classic childhood stuff that I feel like doesn't happen anymore. Animal rights law is very important. I definitely support that, but I was at the county fair recently with Isaac, and we were going past all the games, and we played skee ball for a little bit. He tried to win me a stuffed animal, but everything's kind of rigged, so it's really hard to do that without spending a ton of money. And I was telling him about when I was a kid, the game where you throw a ping pong ball and try to get it into a little cup, not beer pong, but similar. At my county fair growing up, you used to be able to win a bunny playing that game if you got like a certain amount of ping pong balls in, which is just insane to think about now, that you would just hand someone a live bunny and they just walk away into the night. Who knows what's going to happen to that rabbit? But I have such a warm memory of wanting the bunny and trying to win the bunny, and how cool would it have been if I would have gotten the bunny. And your story just brought that all rushing back again. And I think it's so cool that you actually won the chick and that you got to have a little chicken pet that reminded you of Halloween. Did it have a Halloween themed name? I'd be curious to know. But also your mom was a singer with a band. Oh my God, Louisa, every part of your letter is making me swoon. It's so fun. There's such cool memories and experiences. And I feel really touched that we all got to go on this journey with you. I mean, what a cool episode. We went to Nova Scotia, we went to Boston, we went to Columbia. That's what's so special about this podcast, the way it's brought people from all over the world together. And we all get to be like, wow, we love this thing no matter where we're from and what our background was. We have this in common. And in discussing these things, I feel like we discover we have more and more and more in common, all kinds of things we probably hadn't thought about before. And it makes the world and all of its terror and mystery feel a little calmer, a little nicer. And I think we could all use that feeling right now. You guys really got me today. I am in my feels. What a fantastic episode. Thank you so much, Chelsea, Meg, Louisa. This was lovely. I'm so excited to include many of the materials from today's episode in our upcoming Hallowzines that we're making in collaboration with Joe Carlo from Displaced Snail Publications. And just a reminder, you have 5 more days to get that stuff in. Make sure it's in the It's Always Halloween podcast at gmail.com inbox before June 1st. Hey, and we're always taking Halloween memories, recommendations, any fascinating story you want to tell us. Call into the All Hallows Hotline at 802-532-DEAD. Or again, send those memories to Gmail. It's always Halloween podcast at gmail.com. I can't wait to read your future mails. And if you love It's Always Halloween and you want to support us in making future episodes, you can subscribe at patreon.com/itsalwayshalloween. You can leave a one-time donation in our tip jar. You can buy our merch on Redbubble, or you could just tell your friends and family to start listening, make a little post on socials and tag us, or write us a little review on Apple Podcasts. It's been about a month since we've gotten a new one, and I'd love to zhuzh up this space with a rave. This episode of It's Always Halloween was written, researched, and performed by me, your haunted host, Lucé Tomlin-Brenner, with help from your fellow lanterns, Chelsea, Meg, and Louisa. The editing, sound design, and theme music is by the incomparable Pete Burns. Thanks so much, Pete. You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at LTBcomedy. You can follow Pete at Mittenberries. Thank you so much for listening to yet another episode of It's Always Halloween. And come back next time, unless you get taken in by the pumpkin people.